if you think about the experiences you create for people in terms of releasing, collecting, and stacking energy, you'll be able to create really amazing experiences. And this has been something I've been passionate about for almost 20 years. And if any of what I'm sharing here helps you create better experiences, we're game. Now, thinking in terms of energy can be abstract. So what I hope to do is to provide some concrete anchors that you can use as part of your planning process. All right, let's get started. I like to think about experiences in terms of energy because of my background as a chemist, where I learned about the first law of thermodynamics that says that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It just shifts or transforms from one form into another. And I think this is a really important concept to understand when it comes to creating really emotionally powerful experiences for people. And that's where the first insight is. You don't create energy. You create opportunities and moments that releases energy. Then is a question about how many of these can you create? How can you concentrate that? How can you stack that to really tip over to something that is emotionally really powerful? All right. So what we want to do is to understand what things releases energy. And the first one I want to bring up is that movement releases energy, right? If you feel a little bit sluggish, just hopping up and down gonna make you happier. In fact, this is something I learned from Tony Robbins' Business Mastery course, where it was a lot about that. If you want to tackle a really strong challenge, the more you sort of pep yourself up with a lot of energy, hopping up and down, maybe singing and dancing, and then sit down with all this sort of collected energy in your body, you'll be able to do a much better job sort of cracking a difficult challenge. Now, when it comes to events, more of the same doesn't necessarily keep giving you that positive energy. So more classes doesn't give more energy necessarily. You need to find different ways and different activities to make that happen. For example, people are also different. So you have to think about it as in terms of who are those participants. Teachers will need a different sort of set of activities for them to get that positive energy. The beginner participants or those who are new to the art form you're providing, they need a different sort of kind of series of activities to collect and get that positive energy. And for example, if it's a festival, you have people who want to stay for the evening party. They have different needs. They don't necessarily want to get up early in the morning and then take classes and then come and party all night. So you need to treat each avatar, so to say, each customer group differently and try to see it from their perspective. How can movement be used in order to release that energy? This is quite interesting. There was an event in south of France where we were invited as teachers, and during the party, they actually had plenty of different games set up on the side. So you could be involved with the dancing, you could be involved hanging out at the bar, but there was also all these different sort of activities and games that you could do. So you could have movement and activity happening in different forms. So when you were tired of one sort of activity and that wasn't giving you enough energy anymore, you could switch to another one. Let me show you this video, for example. So for me personally, that was a really fun experience, and I still, whenever I look at it, it puts a smile on my face. Being moved also releases energy, right? So this can be, for example, talks, shows, or in any emotional activity, but frankly, even a massage or different activities like that sort of makes you passively or actively sort of being moved in that moment can help a lot. Or something, for example, if you tap into what Andrew Huberman often talks about, optical flow, basically different form of transportations where the scenery just moves by your eyes. That process is very calming and enjoyable in many ways. So if you organize, for example, walks, tours, ferry tours or something like that, these are very enjoyable experiences for people. Hunger for achievement releases energy. So for example, at Chase Festival, what we did is having this pro-am competition. So in our world, what that means is that there are certain artists that sort of have the ability to be professionals, meaning they're hired and invited to all these different festivals and workshops as teachers. And there are other people who are almost there, not quite there yet. And for example, at this festival, what we did is we set up an environment where each of these up and coming artists sort of get an opportunity to showcase them at their best ability by giving them a partner that is already sort of at that top level. So what can they create if they are coming together? And that was a really enjoyable experience. And of course, for these people who get to that, get that opportunity, that becomes a really enjoyable experience. Collaborations releases energy. This is also another thing that we did for Chase Festival, where we brought them a day earlier. We've paid for them to learn a routine or collaborate around a routine so that the teacher's performance can be something extra. So the teacher's performance can be something extra. And this is something that I believe the teachers really enjoyed. I mean, at least from the conversations I had with them, they seem to enjoy that a lot. As I was part of that, I know I enjoyed that a lot as well. And there, for example, other teachers, we just provided the room, time, and space for them to be able to do that as well. And they choreographed something together. So giving the artists an opportunity to collaborate and engage with each other in different forms really helps free up that collaborative energy. Celebration and rituals releases energy. In the last video I talked about at the Chase as being a little bit ritual. Actually, it does that. It releases energy. But I can maybe give a reference from Snowball, is a festival in Stockholm that basically happens every New Year, and they have this celebration process where they at midnight they have a lot of confetti, champagnes, and everything. And this is totally against it doesn't help with the dancing, because then you have to sort of swipe off all the confetti and everything from the dance floor so we can dance again. But the contrast, the transition, and just the anticipation of that moment, everybody being together, it just releases a ton of energy. Cultural experiences releases energy. So, for example, if you offer food, if you can make that food at that festival or weekender or classes or whatever you do have some cultural meaning, it actually releases more energy than if it's just food. And of course, food alone releases energy. But for example, it was an event in France that we were teaching at, and it's called Crepe Swing. So they were offering crepes to everybody. And then, of course, there were a few people, amazing people, had to get up like at 4 a.m. to start making crepe for every participant in the festival. But that was a whole experience on its own, right? Atmosphere and imagination releases energy. What I mean with imagination here is like if you decorate in a way that you feel like you're transported into another place, right? For example, Chase Festival venue on its own is so gorgeous and sort of art deco, so that does a lot of that work. So there we basically had to make sure to play with light, decoration, and have good sound system. The budget just for light was outrageous when I thought about like, oh my God, is it worth putting this money on light alone? Eventually the lesson was yes, absolutely. It makes such a difference in the experience you have there, especially when you're thinking about things in terms of energy. So the main thing I want you to take with just these things, and now this is not an exhaustive list, I'm sure you find many more. In fact, comment in the comment section about your version of releasing energy so we can get more inspiration and ideas. But what you want to do is to take every customer or participant, whether it's the paid artist, the musicians, the event goers, the guests in the evening, look at each group and see, how can I help them release more energy? And importantly, how can I stack these? How can I put more of these together? Think about it this way. You can have a 20-minute massage for yourself and it's lovely, enjoyable, but about 2 hours, 3 hours later, you've sort of forgot about it. But what if you stack that? What if you have a 20-minute massage, but before that you had a hour of a spa experience, and then after that you have a lovely dinner, and then after that you spend time with a person you love, and after that you have a night out doing something enjoyable, and then the day morning after you have another amazing breakfast. At some point you've stacked so much of that positive energy that that is no longer something you easily forget. That becomes a memory, that becomes something you want to repeat as soon as possible. So that's what I mean with stacking. Try to find more ways of creating these opportunities to release energy. Now, at the same time, you also want to avoid energy drainers. So from the participant's perspective, but frankly also your artist's perspective, like feeling uncertain if you belong there drains energy. Not finding a group to be a part of drains energy. So if you in different forms can provide icebreaker games or different ways where you bring people together. So for example, when I started university, there's a whole culture around university where they basically spend a few months just doing a bunch of activities. And a lot of that is for you to feel like you've created a new group of friends that you want to spend the rest of your 4 or 5 years that you're going to be at the university with together. And one of the things that really quickly changes your feeling of belonging to the same group is to just switch place quickly with the same group. So bar hopping, for example. So for example, the first time at the first bar, you're all different strangers coming from different places and trying to mingle. But as you go together into the next bar, now you're a group against all the other strangers. And if you do that a few times, you've accelerated the whole process of feeling belonging with this group. So if you can find ways of making people very quickly feel like they belong to each other, then you sort of manage to really stop that drainage quickly. Now, poorly handled mistakes is amazing energy drainer. So if you have a conflict with somebody, but at the same time, these opportunities release energy. I mean, this time it's negative emotional energy, but at the same time, if you're good at handling these situations, if you have the skill behind it, then you're able to convert this into a positive experience. And that actually has a positive impact, meaning you've converted, because you can't create positive energy. You need to have stuff in German. You need to have material that you convert into something positive. So that's something to be careful about how you sort of implement. But if you're good at doing that, then that's a huge source of stuff. Again, is the word I want to say. A way to improve the experiences of people. This is for when you're working with your staff, artists, volunteers, and so on. Too many back and forth emails are energy drainers. Try to be better organized. Collect your questions. Collect everything into 1 or 2 sets of emails. Have that back and forward thing. You don't want to tag your experience or your event with something emotionally draining and negative like that. And of course, that helps with having, for example, this organizer's checklist that we're offering here. You can use this QR code to get access to it. It's free. You don't need to sign up, nothing like that. And that's gonna help you do a better job with this. Know exactly what you need to ask them ahead of time, and minimize the need for a lot of back and forths happening with your participant or with your artists, with your staff, with your volunteers, with your team. Of course, one of the goals we have with FullEvent is to make sure you can have a lot of that systematized inside of a software. One of the main ways is by bringing the schedules inside of the program. It'll allow you to be much more organized. If you scan this QR code, you get to the page where I describe the whole software in quite a lot of detail. So I hope you go and enjoy that. Now, this is something I really enjoy, is where you multi-purpose the energy, you multi-purpose the energy you bring together and you sort of create it. So especially when you make a bigger experience, a festival, event, workshop, or something like that, you now have brought all these people from all over the world together in one place. Now, without sacrificing any of their experience, it's hailing now outside, I apologize for the extra sound, but without sacrificing any of the experiences from your main participants, how can you use this moment or this opportunity to sort of form strong bonds with other people? So for example, if you have local businesses or government that you want to build relationship with, send them a VIP invitation, give them a nice place to sit, maybe even a champagne or whatever, as long as it doesn't make it weird with the other participants. So you don't want to put them in the like middle of everything, because they are probably the odd ones sitting there. But use this opportunity to collaborate with other businesses, and especially if you intend to have this relationship with them on an ongoing basis. You can organize some of your, especially if you want to create more awareness of the activities you're doing, if some of those activities are in public spaces so other people can see it, or you have an open doors time. Like I remember at Chase Festival, we could offer, we could have a separate entrance, and we had a room that had an open door, taster free for anybody who could walk in from the street. And because we had a balcony structure, they were welcome to step out on the balcony and see everybody dancing, for example. So that was a great way for us to build awareness in our local city here, but by having them having this amazing experience. They come there, they have some taster classes, they go and stand at the balcony, watch these amazing people from all over the world having this amazing time, fantastic music. I mean, that's gonna move them, right? That's gonna make them remember what this thing is that we were doing. There is actually a conclusion that I was surprised as I was making this video. This wasn't something I was thinking about before, but now I believe it's true. And an event is a one-time experience. It's technically not something you can bottle up to sell later. That's still true. But the energy you've released, concentrated and stacked, that actually stores in people's bodies and memories and experiences and relationships with you. And that's going to help you, for example, if you want to have these artists back, they will reserve that date for you even before you ask them, just in case they'll be asked back. They will answer your emails quicker because of the positive experience they had with you. Or the participants who were there as consumers, they will go home and they will tell people, they will like your social media posts, they will be the first ones to sign up in the next registration round. So in a way, energy can be stored in that form. Now, mostly it's hottest with the people who were there and the ones who really had a great time. And then, but it radiates out as well into people around them. So I think if you really do a good job creating these amazing experiences and really think about how you can release more energy, concentrate more energy, stack more energy, and make sure people have really amazing experiences with you, you'll benefit from it in the long run. And like I was saying in the previous video, it can sometimes be taking the shorter straw, because some of it is investments that you could skip and not do and still have people quite happy. But I think the trade-off is totally worth it when you consider the long game. All right, if you see this video in another channel, please scan this QR code. I'm building a YouTube channel. Go over there, like, subscribe, comment, help me grow, share with some other people. And if you want to reach out if you want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to help you with anything around making your events. I just want to build a relationship with you so I can understand better what kind of events you're organizing so we can build a better software. All right, I'm out.